Yo guys, how's everyone doing? Bless up to everybody. Welcome to episode 3 of the Alice Fußball show. We are back yet again. And yeah, man, we're here with obviously the panelists. Bless up to everybody. Obviously, I'm back from Germany now. So yeah, I'm back home. Yeah, man. So bless up to everybody. Hopefully everyone's doing good. Smash the likes, hit the subscribe button. Obviously, check out Justin. Make sure you check out Alex as well. All of the links are in the description. And yeah, we're going to obviously get straight into the show. So yeah, bless up to everyone. And yeah, how you doing, Alex? You good, bro?
Yeah, I'm doing very well, thanks. What about yourself?
Yeah, not so bad, man. Not so bad. I wish I was still in Germany. I won't lie, but it is what it is. You know what I mean. And then obviously we've got Justin in here as well. How are you, bro?
Yeah, good evening, lads, to the both of you and to everyone watching and or listening to this as well. Not too bad, actually. Just recently did my first podcast episode of the season for prediction for the DFB Pokal and the first game of the Bundesliga, or sorry, I should say the Bundesliga season as a whole. So glad to be back in the thick of things and let's talk about some Bundesliga football.
No, 1000%. So yeah, where should we start, lads? Obviously, there's various things to talk about. We've got Nkunku, whether we want to talk about that. We've got obviously the Woltemade deal, still not happening. Obviously, we put in another bid. They rejected it again. Obviously, we've got to talk about the Super Cup coming up. I believe is his name, Alex. You might have to help me with this one. Is it Amine Adli?
Amine Adli, yeah, simple.
He's linked to Bournemouth. But yeah, man. Where shall we start, lads?
Alex, go ahead.
Yeah, we can start with Adli.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what's the latest with him?
So Adli seems to be one of the players on his way out. Bournemouth seem to be the team that's most heavily linked with him, though he's been linked with host of other ones from the Premier League, such as Wolves and Sunderland. Leverkusen are hoping for 30 million euros, which would be an exceptional deal. And so far, I don't think there has been any official bids come in, though I've seen in places that Bournemouth have agreed personal terms with player. In my opinion, of all the players that we have lost, I'd say Adli would be the one which I'm least worried about, though he would be a massive loss for the dressing room, if not his actual on-pitch performances, which last year weren't optimal, especially given that he was out for so long with injury, 4 goals and assists last season, which isn't the best. So should at least be easily replaceable and more money for a good replacement like Akliuch, which I think is how you say his name, not Akliuchi.
No, I'm with you. Don't worry about it. I can't pronounce anything, bro. So don't worry about it. Yeah, I haven't really seen much of him. Obviously, I focus mainly on my club, obviously, but he is a good player from what I've seen. 30 million though that's a great deal, is it not? If you can get that, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
what is it? We just put in 60 million euros for Woltemade. You know what I mean? Like, so what do you think, Justin?
To be bluntly honest, I haven't actually seen too much of the player myself, so I can't really comment on a whole lot. But if Alex says that the player was, you know, obviously a big part of their squad and their team and things like that, even if it's not like a massive one of the big name players and things like that, then yeah, it's pretty much that's all I really can say on that matter. So. To be honest, I don't actually remember a play with that name. To be completely honest, I know it's early in the morning, but it's not a name that comes to mind straight off the bat. Like, what position did they play?
Striker.
Striker.
Right?
No. Oh, there you go. Yeah. So how many goals did they score?
2, I believe.
Yeah, two last season.
Yeah. So out of what did they play? 20 odd games or something like that, just as a sub, or?
Yeah,
I think they
literally 20. Literally 20.
Yeah, right. Okay. Yeah, so but technically by numbers and stuff like that, it doesn't really sound like you'd be missing too much. So, I mean, obviously, maybe what the age probably be the under 25 or something like that. So probably quite young. So you probably just want to, if they do go, then I'd probably say you'd just want to be compensated for possible years or something like that. But it wouldn't be like a massively hefty price, I'd say, for the going forward when it comes to what role they play on the pitch or in the team. So obviously strikers are always going to be paying more than anyone else because, in football, goals win games, and you want to pay your strikers the top money, that and your creative midfields. So, but yeah, I don't really have much else to add, unfortunately. Sorry about that.
Yeah, no. I get it, man. But again, I don't really know too much. I know him because he was the guy that injured Harry Kane.
Right, okay.
In one of our games.
Well, that definitely ups the price. Then, like if you can do like a Sergio Ramos and just take out the player, then yeah, no, that sometimes that pays dividends. So especially if you can do that before a cup tie or something like that, then yeah, that's even better.
Shots fired.
I'm just a smart A, as they say. I don't know if you want me to swear on the channel, so
yeah, if you want to swear, go ahead. I don't care.
Okay, well, kids and listening, you've been warned. Smart ass.
Yeah, yeah, that's all I really know about him. But yeah, 30 million would be good. That would be a really, really good deal. Considering they just got Schick, obviously we spoke about him last week. But considering they obviously just signed, well, they didn't get Schick, they already had him, but signed him on a brand new deal. You know what I mean? Then you keep your best striker, and you go and get rid of a young player for that much money. Like, I think that's a win-win in my opinion. What we obviously both of our clubs, me and Justin, Leipzig and Bayern, are obviously looking into getting Nkunku. I will start with you, Justin, because I know we have spoke about Nkunku before, obviously on the show. But with the newer news coming in, what is your opinion on that, mate?
I personally don't see him coming to Leipzig again, or not in the immediate future. He is obviously quite well liked at RB Leipzig, but I don't think he's the right pick going forward. So by that I mean that unless he's going to be playing as a backup striker for Lewis Openda, then I really don't see any other place for him to be on the pitch. I know he can also drift wide and be a winger and things like that, but we're trying to be focusing on getting youth and getting youth through the whole entire squad. So, the wages are obviously too high as well. If it was a permanent deal, it'd have to be around about a £45 million salary cut, because he's currently on around about 195 pounds per week, which is just something RB Leipzig can't do, as Xavi's the highest paid earner at the moment, along with Timo Werner and a couple other players. We're trying to actually get the salary cap down on the books. So it's pretty much where I look at it. I mean, it's a great addition to any really team and squad, as long as you keep him fit. Personally, I think that any what's the word I'm looking for? Permanent move from any team, I think is a high risk, and that you're probably going to want to be looking for like a loan with an option to buy. If you're looking at risk over reward, because if he goes to Bayern, then he's going to be playing maybe three people down, he's going to third spot in the pecking order depending on where you play him. So he's obviously going to want to be playing like regular first minutes, because he's been harding to break into the Chelsea side. So I think probably even going to Serie A or something like that. There was links of him going to Inter as well. So maybe even that's a better option for him. But I wouldn't mind seeing him back in the Bundesliga week in, week out. That's for sure.
Yeah, no. The thing with me is, I think from where both clubs sit, I feel like Leipzig, again, like you've just said, he's definitely going to have to take a pay cut. I think the same goes with Inter. Inter aren't going to want to spend big money on him, and they won't. They generally won't. I think the only if he's going to come for money, in that sense, he'll come to Bayern. Which in itself, sorry, I can't speak. like we need to drop that wage bill. You know, we just got rid of Coman, which we'll obviously talk about as well. But like we got rid of him, who's an injury-prone player, so on, and then we're looking to replace him with Nkunku, which, by the way, I don't really understand because they are two different positions. You know what I mean? Like it's a bit weird, to be honest. But Alex, what do you think of Nkunku going to either Leipzig or to Bayern, bro?
Well, either player will be gaining. Either club will be gaining exceptional player. For Nkunku, I think it makes more sense to go back to Leipzig. From a purely sporting perspective, as like you say, at Bayern Munich, he's at best a backup in any of the front positions. Maybe I guess he could do a job as a 10 while Musiala is out injured. So yeah, like you're talking about, it would make a lot of sense on loan. But permanent signing, yeah, would be a massive risk because Chelsea, the reason why he isn't very through into the starting lineup at Chelsea is because of his injuries, and if he didn't get injured so often, he would probably be their star player. Leipzig, yeah, they do have the money. They do have the money, but it will still be up to Nkunku to accept a massive pay cut, and he would be an ideal placement for Simmons, tried and tested, and I'm sure like he'll score 15 plus goals if he did return to Leipzig. Yeah, I actually think he'd be a good one for Leverkusen myself. Yeah, either team that gets him, getting great player, but Leipzig definitely needs him more than Bayern, I'd say.
Yeah, I wouldn't be totally against him going to Leverkusen either, to be bluntly honest.
Yeah, especially given that we're looking for a so-called difference maker. You can't really get much better than Nkunku if he's available, especially with his experience as well, not just youth, which seems to be our main priority at the moment.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I think, you know, for me, would I take him? Yeah, but I wanted him to come in as a, you know, as a backup to, you know, build out the squad a bit more. But it looks like from what the news is coming out that we're going to bid on him very soon. Obviously, the reason for that being the Nick Woltemade, however you say his name. Obviously, that we put in 60 million plus add-ons plus a salon clause. I think there were talks of Vanna going the other way as well on a loan. And yeah, they rejected it. They want 75, which they're not getting 75 million. That is in itself is stupid money. So yeah, it's not happening. But hey, at the end of the day, I want to go in there. I would love nothing more than to get a Barcelona result versus them, a 7-0, an 8-2. Set them right, show them who's boss. If we lose, I'm going to be crashing out because I don't want to lose to them. You know what I mean? And I can see your smirk, bro. I see your smirk, Alex. I see it, bro. I know you're happy. You see my pain and it brings you joy. But yeah, no, other than that, there really isn't really anything. We're keeping our young striker. Obviously, we had the Spurs game, which obviously I went to, had a different, another game. And yeah, the young lads are, you know, doing good for us. So I'm happy on that end, if I'm being 100%, you know, in it. What happened in the game you went to, Alex? It was a 2-0 loss, wasn't it?
Yeah, 2-0 against Chelsea. Well, I think we can be kind of happy with the result, even though we did lose. When you look at the two teams, we had a bench which was full of under-19s and Boniface, and you look at Chelsea's bench, all of those players could easily play in their first team on any given week. So I think we actually did all right. It was mainly defense against attack I must admit, we struggled to get out of their press, and Chelsea were crazy good off the ball, and on the ball. Cole Palmer, he is immense. Honestly, one of I can see why they say he's got like Ballon d'Or potential. He was so elegant, so elegant. Um, from a fan's perspective, I was in an excellent position. There's only about, say, 100 fans there for Leverkusen. I was sitting right in the second row, and I had all of the subs warming up right in front of me, which was quite cool. Apart from when you had to look across the other end of the pitch when they're just in the way, but yeah, that was really cool. Yeah, good atmosphere. Even though it's just a friendly, it was just about full. Flecken, he made so many good saves, and was just unlucky with the first goal, for example, because he did a point blank save, pushed up onto the bar, and just unfortunate Esteval was there to tap it in. Yeah, but and Kwanzaa, he was excellent, as was Tape again. Yeah, it was a loss, but he got over it. It was against the so-called world champions, and if we lost 2-0 against Chelsea, it's better than what PSG did. So take that.
True. Why was it called the under 21s? Because most of the main team were there.
Oh, what do you mean?
On Google right now, and it
Yeah.
might be a Google problem. I searched it up and I couldn't find Chelsea. So basically, it says Leverkusen versus Chelsea under 21s.
Oh no, it was their first team. It was their first team. Trust me.
Yeah. Okay.
Though they did have so many players, it might as well have been under 21s. They had like a few players which you never heard of, but they are senior players. Probably most of them just on loan to like championship teams or elsewhere in Europe. But yeah, they were first team. Like for example, they had like Reece James on their bench.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
Palmer
Exactly. That's under
playing
21.
Esteval. Yeah.
No, I'm with you. I'm with you. But was it a good time? I know obviously you didn't get the result, but
Yeah, it was a really good time. I met up with the UK fan club for the game. There's probably about 10 of us, 15 of us, which was really, really good. It's always nice to have a UK game because it means that everyone can just have like an afternoon off or a day off and get to see them without spending hundreds of pounds on a flight and hotel. So yeah, it was really good. Had a few drinks, talked about the season, and yeah, hopefully get to see them again at some point soon.
yeah. No, I'm with you. I'm with you. Obviously, being in the Champions League, I'm sure you'll probably get an English team at some point. In that, we do have some questions though. So bless up to the chat. Big up to everybody again. Links in the description if you want to check out these guys. Make sure you smash likes on the stream as well. And obviously we've got other things to talk about. But question here from Ravi. Bless up, bro. He said, "What's the latest in Germany? Anything concrete for your clubs?" Not really on my end. Anything on either of your ends?
Justin, do you want to start?
Yeah, sure. So yes, there is actually. Just recently, before going on air this evening, that with Ole Werner being the new manager, there's been new captains appointed at RB Leipzig. So as you know, Willi Orban has had the captaincy for quite some time over the. I would say over the Bundesliga career of RB Leipzig since we've been up there. And he's now been a part of the leadership group, but he's not actually a part of being the captaincy. So the captains are actually going to be David Raum, who predominantly plays as a left back, and his backup and vice captain is Xavier Schlager. So me personally, I'm not 100% sold on that. I find David Raum, he's got the leadership qualities and things like that, but I feel that he just tends to push up the pitch a little bit too much and out of position and things like that.
Yeah.
I would have liked a player to be, in the 4-3-3. I would have liked a player to be the central defensive midfielder, the central one in front of the back four, most likely as your captain, as they can control pretty much everything, including wing play and central.
Yeah.
But hey, what do I know? So there's that. And then you've also got Peter Galacci as still going to be the number one goalkeeper, which little disappointed. I mean, look, he's a fantastic goalkeeper, and if I do recall correctly, he actually won like the best goalkeeper award or something last year in the Bundesliga. So there's no knock on his performances and things like that. But I do think that going forward, the club is supposed to be looking more towards the future and not just really the here and now. So I would have liked to have had Martin van der Voort, the actual number one goalkeeper, and starting on the weekend against SV Sandhausen. So it's going to end up being Peter Galacci in goal. So other than that, hasn't been really anything else that's completely changed or anything at the club.
Anything on your end, Alex?
Linked to what Justin was saying about Raum becoming the new captain at Leipzig.
Yep.
We've had a new captain announced as well. Got Robert Andrich as our new captain. Vice captain hasn't been sorted out yet. Apparently that's going to only be a thing after the transfer window when everyone's been signed. It's also a bit of a mixed bag for a lot of Leverkusen fans, that announcement, because whilst Robert Andrich is a fan favourite and he does definitely possess leadership qualities and he can definitely command midfield and so on, just the fact that we've got potentially our second or third choice midfielder as a captain means that
He's going to play more.
yeah, he's got to play more, which may impact the performance of the team. And on the other hand, he might not play so much, and we've got our leader on the bench. So yeah, it could work either way. Not too great, but I personally think he's a solid choice, because at the end of the day, who are we going to we're going to choose instead? We got Schick, who said himself he's not ready to be captain. Tapsoba, he's the third most appearances, I believe, that's left in the squad. Or I think so anyway. He's very error prone, and he's not probably as fluent in German, obviously, as Andrew. In terms of transfers, it looked very concrete that we're going to get Loic Bado from Sevilla. Supposedly the deal is going to be done before the end of the week, but it seems that Inter Milan have tried to hijack it, and Bado basically said, if you can get an offer which Sevilla are happy with, I'm joining you, not Leverkusen. So though we have still got 3 more signings to come, and that's according to Kicker, one of which will be a central defender. The other 2 possibly a right wing back, though we have just signed Boku from RZ officially. Whilst he was a winger, he's being planned as a wing back, and an attacking midfielder, which is the so-called difference maker. So yeah, there will be action probably within the next few days, I hope. Hopefully 1 new signing shortly.
Yeah. No, I'm with you. Because who was your captain? Was it Tar?
Our captain was Fedetsky.
Okay.
Tar was the vice captain. Yeah, he would captain when he wasn't playing in Pokal or Champions League. But Xhaka, he was the secret captain.
Yeah.
He was the manager on the pitch.
No,
yeah, to be blatantly honest, I actually thought Granit Xhaka was actually a better model as for that, just because of like you think of him being the person that put all the pieces together. He doesn't mind copping a spray of to his defenders, telling them to get into position or cover this or that, or things like that. So and that's what you really want from a leader of the pitch as well. So not only can just put everyone into their places and things like that, and basically get their, lift up morale as well, when you're going behind, which I don't think you guys really had much of a problem with even last season. Like, you're still one of the top teams, even if you did, drop a couple of games and end up losing the Bundesliga title. But, yeah, for me, if I would have just done straight out Granit Xhaka.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I'm with you on that one. Can Bayern win more than just the league? Yes, that should be the case. That should be what we're going for. It's going to be very interesting to see what Leipzig do. Very interesting to see what Leverkusen do this season going forward. Obviously, in the last 5 years, if I'm right by saying, Leipzig have won 2 DFB Pokals. And obviously, Justin. Now I'm mixing up my panelists. Alex has won 1 as well. And then obviously Stuttgart. Who was the other team that's won 1? So you guys got 2. You got 1. Was it us?
I think maybe. I think Frankfurt got 1 relatively recently.
Because I know. Obviously, DFB. Obviously, Stuttgart are the holders right now. Let me look at winners. I feel like I'm being stupid here. Let me have a look. Okie dokie. Scroll down. Where is it? Okay, no. Why is it giving me 19 something? So Stuttgart, Leverkusen, it was Dortmund. It was Dortmund.
Yeah.
Actually against Leipzig 4-1.
Yes, I remember. That's how I knew, because the following year I do believe that we played SC Freiburg, and I actually started crying that day that we actually won it, considering that was our first actual main trophy that we've won. So Mrs. was telling me
penalties, right?
Yeah. Mrs. was telling me to shut up and things like that, because it was 4 a.m, and I'm just screaming at the TV, and everything's like that. She's like, shut the, whatever, to put it nicely, and I'm trying to sleep and whatever, and I'm like, I'm sorry. So yeah, I get a bit adamant sometimes when I'm watching the football stuff. I try not to do it too much on live, because even when I'm doing it on my channel, I swear a little bit, so it's not very friendly. I'll probably get banned completely off YouTube, knowing my luck.
No, I hear it. Yeah, you definitely haven't watched too many of my streams then, mate. And I'm still here, so, I think you'll be all right. But honestly, yes, Bayern should be going for more than just 1 league. But these 2 are going to be, hard to go against, especially if we go and get Alex again in the round of freaking 16. So obviously we got our revenge in the Champions League, but that's not really the point, is it? I want their DFB Pokal. We haven't won it. Actually, we haven't even been serious in it since we last won it. It's not, we haven't won it since we last won it, because obviously, but we got smashed up by Borussia Mönchengladbach, smashed us 5-0, knocked us out, got beaten by Saarbrücken. Obviously, Leipzig knocked us out in the round of 16. Leipzig, I said Leverkusen, I said the wrong thing. So yeah, it's a bit peak, but let's see what happens. But yeah, realistically, to answer your question, yes, we should. Obviously, both of my other panelists here, though, and the co-host of the show, they're going to say otherwise. But yeah. Question for all: how well do you see the German clubs doing in the Champions League and the Europa Leagues? So obviously Conference League and Europa itself.
Not too bad, actually. Personally, I mean, really, besides Bayern and Leverkusen, I mean, it's anybody's game. You'd expect pretty much most of them to get at least passed into the round of 16 phase. I mean, I think last season with the first, I do believe it was the new format of the Champions League.
Yep.
I thought that was a little bit stupid, personally. I mean, it grows on you, I guess, but it's the old way. I mean, I'm not just saying that because we also didn't qualify either, but we actually had some really good games. We had games against Sporting and Liverpool and Juve and Atletico Madrid, and these are normally games that you wouldn't get until deep later into the competition. So, and it also gave the lower clubs as well opportunities to get into the next phase as well. So when you look at it from that perspective, it's obviously a lot better. But in general, I think the general consensus is that the German teams should be going quite deep. They used to be top in the coefficient rankings or something like that for a little while, before I think no, that's obviously us. I think England pipped us over for top spot or something like that, because that's how we got the extra.
I think it's when Bayern beat Arsenal, I think.
Yeah, because that's how we got into it, because we literally only just scraped in by the skin of our teeth, so to speak, to get into the Champions League for that season. Because of the coefficient rankings. So I honestly can't really see any of the teams failing too badly. I think most of them will go through into the next phases. Does the I'm not too sure, does the Europa League end up doing the same thing as the Champions League, or is the Europa League the old format?
I think they're all the new one now. I think they're all
the new format.
All the same.
Yeah, well, that's good then.
And obviously nobody drops down.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, so no, I see them all getting into the at minimum the round of 16 phase. I don't know if they'd go like automatic qualifications, but I see them getting through all their games pretty much relatively unscathed, and pretty much going straight into what would traditionally be known as the Champions League fixtures after the group stage. The old format.
Yeah, no, 100. Before I go to you, Alex, because I know you're going to want to have a say on it. Obviously, we got Bayern, Leverkusen, Frankfurt, and Dortmund in the Champions League. We've got Freiburg in the Europa League, and Mainz got the Conference League. That's who is in it. Obviously, Leipzig missed out. Obviously, like Justin just said, literally by a point. So yeah, Alex, what do you think, bro?
I completely agree. Due to the new format, you have to do exceptionally poorly not to get to the next stage. You saw. I know what happened with Leipzig last year. That was funny. That was funny. But the format is such, like, whilst we saw last year that teams like PSG, Man City, etc., they struggled. They didn't really struggle, because at the end of the day, they had so many games that and so many teams playing that just one win could take you from getting knocked out to mid-table. So, and purely just by club size and finance, given the increased number of teams, especially in terms of like Conference League and Europa League, they're not going to worry at all. None of the German teams. They're all going to get into the next stage, at least on paper, in the lower competitions. Champions League could be different, because obviously they've got so many different teams and such varying quality, because it all comes down to the draw. Got some pot 1 teams who will be much better than other pot 1 teams, and the pot 4 teams, that's where you could get unstuck, because you can get some teams with some teams get lucky and get Slovan Bratislava and a Red Star Belgrade, for example. Then other teams can end up with a Newcastle or some other team from the top 5 leagues. So it's quite unfair in that regard, but overall quality will shine through, and German team shouldn't.
No, 1,000. I agree fully with both of what you've said. You know, I actually thought it was going to be Frankfurt that won. You know, the Europa League. Obviously, they got beat by the winners, Tottenham. I didn't see that happening whatsoever. So, you know, I fully with that. You know, we can expand on that though if you guys want to. Like, where do you think the Champions League? You know, from the German league, where do you think? Like, for instance, from you two guys, we'll do a quick fire, so we might go in it too much, because obviously we'll talk about other things. But like, where do you think Bayern will end up? Your honest opinion. You're not going to obviously upset me. I don't care. Justin, what do you think? Where do you think Bayern end up Champions League wise?
They're not going to qualify. No, so obviously, if we're looking at it from an actual proper perspective here, I would probably say I'd say the semi-finals. I can't really see them going, you know, less than that. So they definitely get past the round of 16 phase. I don't know, obviously, who they'll play or anything like that. That's to be determined. But yeah, no, they should relatively run deep, especially, because Bayern would at least, from my perspective, obviously not a Bayern perspective, you'd want nothing but to get deep into the competition because, especially if another team were to beat you to it, that would also be not acceptable. So I would say semi-finals at the very least.
Yeah, I would say semi-finals as well. What do you think, Alex?
Yeah, I say at least quarterfinals. Though, having seen your squad depth going into the last stage of the season with all these extra games, if you can avoid injuries, maybe you can get to semi-finals. But if you have just one injury in your front line, for example, you could be in trouble. So, yeah.
I'm with you. What do you think about Leverkusen? I think probably around the round of 16. I think, maybe quarters, like between there. My personal opinion.
Yeah, I agree. I'd like to say round of 16 quarterfinals. Realistically, I think we're not going to do so well in the league phase, because we've got such a different team. It'll take a while for us to get going, in my opinion. Probably finish somewhere in the middle and get past round 32. I'd probably say round of 16 would be our own bill, depends on the draw. Quarterfinals would be excellent. I'd say that would be a great success if we got to the quarterfinals, but we got to see how Leverkusen of 25-26 actually does.
Yeah.
First.
No, I'm with you. The interesting one for me would be Frankfurt, but because obviously Frankfurt they lost like their main two players. Where do you think they would end up? Do you think they get out the group or not? Like I don't know.
Yeah, I think they should. I mean, it really depends. I would hold off on saying exactly what until we see their league form, and if we're going, because it really depends on if they're going to prioritize European results or if they're going to do domestically. So,
The league, yeah.
and you have to basically look at it from that perspective. So, I think they should, depending on their draw. I mean, like if not to say that ours was season last year was a flop because it was. Like if they get a really bad draw, like what we did last season, when it comes to like getting pretty much all the top teams in the leagues that we like had it up against, then obviously I don't think they're going to pass it, but they should at least get into the round of 16 phase without a question.
Yeah, Alex, you think the same?
Yeah, probably say like the round of 32 mid of the season stage. They'll get through the groups. Given their how they are at home, for example, I can imagine getting like at least a couple of upsets. So somewhere in the middle of the league phase and maybe get knocked out in the pre-round of 16 phase, whatever that is called.
I know what you mean. Yeah.
Round.
Yeah.
Yeah, playoff round. Yeah.
What do we think about Dortmund? I think they are probably, they seem to always, for some reason, get quite far in the Champions League. So I'm thinking probably, quarters again, most likely. That's what I'm thinking personally.
Yeah, I could agree with you, and I don't think I touched on actually for Bayer Leverkusen as well. And for me, I think that at least get into the quarterfinals as well. It really depends on what Alex said with Ten Hag as well. So, like obviously new coach and things like that, but you've got an experienced manager, so yeah, and for both teams actually. So yeah, I would say quarterfinals for Dortmund.
For Dortmund, yeah. Alex, you think the same?
Yeah, they always do strangely well. We say quarterfinals, round of 16. Yeah, I'll be interested to see how well like Joe Bellingham does, for example, because I think he could do something for them. But yeah, Dortmund's squad, they aren't the Dortmund of old, and yeah, round of 16 is probably their limit in my opinion.
No, I see it. I know what you mean. The interesting one for the Europa League is obviously Freiburg, which Freiburg are always a weird team. They're a good team, but they're a weird team. So I'm probably thinking around the round of 16 again for them. Realistically, they should be going into the round of 16. If they crash out, then there'll be a reason for it. But what do you guys think of Freiburg Europa League wise?
Probably going to say the quarterfinals actually, because the Europa League isn't really that bad. So if they, so as in I should say, they don't have a lot of quality compared to obviously the Champions League. So you have a couple of good teams in there that are still really good that could have made the Champions League and things like that. Like for instance, your Premier League teams are always going to be quite strong.
Mm-hmm.
So I do think that they're going to get pretty deep though. Their thing with Freiburg is that for me, they've never really been big scorers. So they really need to focus on trying to get more goals. I think those goals will come against like the really lesser teams, and I think that's what will help them get them through into the round of 16 phase or into the playoff phase, whatever you want to call it. So if I recall correctly, I think it's actually this is like a second playoff phase or something like that. But anyway, yeah. So I do think they'll get at least into the quarterfinals of their competition. At the very worst, they're going to make it through into the round of 16 phase. So that's pretty much where I put them.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. What do you think, Alex?
Yeah, I agree. At least quarterfinals for Freiburg. It's not the same competition as it used to be. The teams that qualify, the teams that are going to finish in the Europa League. Problem was with the previous years is that you thought you were the favourites, but then suddenly, I don't know, Barcelona drops out. Champions League, it's not the case anymore. So Freiburg, they go into it as one of the stronger teams now. Hopefully, do Germany proud. They're very good defensively, as much as they maybe not so efficient in attack. They are very good defensively and have great team spirit. And I can imagine them doing quite well, causing even Premier League teams some difficulty. There will come a point though where quality will shine through, and this is the problem with Freiburg. As good as they are as a unit, they don't have the star power. And with Taiwan gone, for example, they've lost one of their key players. So quarterfinals, possibly semi-finals. It just depends on the draw.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. And then the last one, obviously being Mainz in the Conference League or European Conference League. That's what I believe is what it's called. Obviously they've got some good players. Obviously their main striker obviously is gone. So I think probably around the same. I think around the 16 quarterfinals is where they should be getting. In my personal opinion. So, yeah, man.
I think that's a minimum. I think they could go probably a little bit deeper down towards like the semi-finals or things like that. So, because it's a very, very like low league, so to speak. So, you'd think that getting that far into the group, you'd have at least your minimum top 4 teams. You'd have someone from, Premier League, La Liga, obviously Bundesliga, and then I think who's the other one, Serie A. So, I would probably say that. Yeah, they'd get pretty far.
Yeah, no, maybe. Alex?
Yeah, I agree. I think they're probably go into the competition as one of the favourites by default. I'd expect probably quarterfinals, semi-finals at minimum. At the end of the day, you saw how Chelsea got to the final. It all went their way. I don't think they had to play a team from the top 5 leagues in the knockouts till the final. So if it goes their way, they might only have to play like one tough team, and they are good enough to face these top teams. Like they always get good results in the Bundesliga, for example, and the way they played against us in the final day of the season last season, they could have beaten us 6-2 on another day. So they could do very well. Problem is you've got the Premier League team, whichever Premier League team that is, they're just going to be on another planet. So they'll be the favourites, but Mainz will be one of 2, 3 teams which will be expected to meet them in the final.
Yeah. Okay, so for some reason it doesn't. Oh, I don't know off the top of my head who gets it because it doesn't say. I think it's gonna be Nottingham Forest. I think.
Very good side, actually.
Yeah, really good
Yeah.
side. So obviously Crystal Palace should be in Europa League, but because of the co-ownership, obviously they're in Lyon as well. They don't get it, but anyway, screw the Premier League. Then Catalan says, "What happened to Timo? He was a killer his first time at Leipzig."
Yeah, no, he was a goal machine. When we got him off of VfB Stuttgart, he wasn't really. He was known as a good, decent enough striker or winger, and then he just under Nagelsmann, he just took off. I think that going to the Premier League sort of ruined his reputation a little bit, because it's one of those leagues where it's the same as La Liga. If you go to Barcelona or Real Madrid and then you flop, then you essentially ruin your career to a degree. So, and then your market value just crashes. So I'm not saying he's a bad striker or anything like that, but I think that right now would have actually been the best time to keep him and actually play him starting as a winger, and then or coming on for one of the wingers or Lewis Openda as the main striker.
Yeah.
For the simple fact is that these were the positions that he was good at, coming from how he used to play before Chelsea paid that money for him. So if you want to try to get his market value or show to the world that he's still got it, because I think he still does, but the jury's out. So and for me, it's either have him there and then try to get rid of him, but then are we sort of carrying him until January? So for me, if I can just get rid of him, even if it's for pennies, I'll take him at a loss. He's a fantastic player. He's still our record goal scorer as well. So I mean, he sort of gets a little bit of a right to stay, for almost as long as he wants, really. But when it comes to bleeding in youth and obviously the salary cap issues at RB Leipzig, then yeah, look, he's one of the highest paid earners still. He needs to leave from that perspective. But, I mean, it wouldn't be a bad idea to start him in the Pokal Cup this weekend just to see if he smashes in a couple of goals as well. So, just to make him look good, for potential suitors and things like that. So, I think it's mainly to do with the tactics and also then the pressure of going to the Premier League. Because, I mean, he did the same thing at Tottenham. He did well at Tottenham as well, don't get me wrong. The numbers were obviously poor, but he actually played quite well. He wasn't there designed to score all the goals. He was there to as a playmaking forward or a support forward. So, and he did his role well. But obviously for the money that is requested, I wanted Spurs to pay for it, but it's a far fetch. So that pretty much boils down to what happened with Timo. So I think even just going to another lower club, even if he stayed in the Bundesliga, if he went to a team like Freiburg or Gladbach or, one of these mid-table to top team, table sides where he's going to be this main focus of the team to scoring and or creating, which, wouldn't hurt his career. He's getting in close to his 30s, so I think it's 27 or 28 or something. So even if it's just a couple-year deal or something like that, even a loan into the Bundesliga wouldn't be a bad option for him.
Yeah. I think you're right fully. I would take him as a backup as long as his wages wasn't, stupid. If I'm being honest, because again, like I said, I'm trying to build a squad. But I do agree with Bo in some sense. His main thing was his pace. He went to the Premier League, and then his pace wasn't. When he came back, his pace wasn't what it was. Maybe it's a confidence issue. Because obviously Bayern were linked to him. When obviously we had Hansi Flick before Chelsea got him. Obviously that didn't happen. Obviously he went to Chelsea and so on. But going down, he's obviously won a Champions League and so on. But I do agree. I feel like he's ruined his career in the Premier League. But hey, it is what it is. It is what it is. Yves Cornercast says, what is Leverkusen's expectations for the new season with Ten Hag at the helm? Will it still be to push for the title, or to rebuild and just make top four?
Well, publicly, everyone at Leverkusen is trying to play down our chances, and the target is once again top four, at least publicly. But I think internally they are still going to try and push for the title. They have to, 'cause even though the squad has changed so much, we've got a lot of money in, and we have made some very, very good signings in Tillman and in Kwanzaa. It's not the same as Bits and Tar, but these players are still top quality. And if you look at the rest of the league, you got to think we're still in that top four sides on paper. So whilst we may be aiming for the Champions League, I'd like to think we'll be aiming just a little bit higher. Maybe finish second again. That would be an exceptional season. Yeah, it just depends. We haven't really seen the full Leverkusen squad yet. We're missing probably still one or two massive signings. Maybe when it gets to September time, we can analyze our situation again and maybe aim a little bit higher or a little bit lower. But I think Champions League football would be great. Be a solid start, and maybe a good run in the cup as well. Champions League is obviously out of our reach, but maybe got to the round of 16 again, I'd say that's also quite successful. So yeah, round of 16 Champions League, quarterfinal, semi-finals, even final, or win the cup. The cup is probably the best chance of a title, and top four, that'd be a successful season in my opinion.
Yeah, no, I'm with you fully, bro. And then another question for you as well was going to ask, how's Kwanzaa getting on in Germany?
He is doing so well. Even though it's only been friendly games, I was a bit doubtful at first, given how Liverpool fans were treating him when he left. Everyone was grateful for how much money they got. They couldn't believe how much money we paid, but and I couldn't either. To be honest, we broke our transfer record for him. But since he's joined, he's been crazy good. Not just in defending, but he's had a couple of moments where he's carried the ball up to the penalty area, for example. His passing ability is superb. And he's also already scored a headed goal against Bochum. So I'm really looking forward to seeing how he does. He's going to be a guaranteed start, in my opinion, throughout the season. So we'll see plenty more from him. But what I've seen so far, yeah, he may not be here for long. Liverpool obviously had that buyback clause in 2 years, and unfortunately, I can already see it happening. But we'll enjoy him while he's here. Sure.
Yeah. Any word of action for Noussair? I heard they want to loan him out to run this for Nabry. Any truth with that? Wait, what?
Well, there's no loan out option for Antonio Noussair. He's expected to start as one of the main wingers this season at RB Leipzig. So he's going to have to work a little bit hard. He's not like just guaranteed starting spot, but no, he's supposed to be pretty much one of the key players coming forward. So I think it was more so that he was probably just unhappy with how much game time he was getting in the old system. So I think that's pretty much where it was. And then obviously Bayern are linked with pretty much any player in the Bundesliga that's any good, so from any rival team. So that's pretty much probably where that rumour's come from.
Yeah. Would you take Serge Gnabry or not?
No.
There we go. Super Cup. Let's talk about the Super Cup. Obviously, this weekend. If you don't want to say too much, Justin, because obviously you did it on your platform. That's absolutely fine. But what are we thinking? Who's gonna win? Do you want to tell scores? Like, what are we thinking?
Oh no, with mine I didn't go into the Super Cup or anything. It's just RB Leipzig related, so we don't get in that competition, unfortunately. So yeah, no. So I touched on it last week, I believe. 3-1, 3-2, or something like that. If it's going to be taken straight out, and then that would be taken out straight by Munich. However, I could see it going pretty deep and then going towards the penalty section. So, yeah, look, it's tough, especially Bayern. They're expected to win everything. Stuttgart, they're going to want to be able to beat Bayern. I mean, just about any team wants to be able to beat Bayern regardless and take a trophy off them. So there's also that perspective. And even though it's technically a preseason, like friendly game, or like a warm-up game, I should say, I still think, though, in the Bundesliga, for me, it holds more, like, what's the word I'm looking for here? It holds more value, especially if you're normally playing up against Bayern Munich, because you don't get those options very often in German football to be able to get into these finals and play against Bayern Munich, who, are the record meister for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's going to be a fantastic game. Definitely worth watching, no matter if you're, just a fan of, the best sporting beat around the Bundesliga, then obviously, yep, tune in regardless of who you go for. Obviously, on this channel, mainly it's Bayern fans. But yeah, like I think I'll probably be at work at the time of it. It's about like 4 a.m. or something my time. I'll probably plug it in and have a look and see how the position goes for the season. But yeah, I think that there's probably more interest in Woltemade basically in this one as well. So I was actually hoping that you guys would actually have him beforehand, and then that way you have the player against the team that he just was from, like as his first actual game as well. That would actually be something. But yeah, look, I think it's going to be a pretty good game, and it's a good curtain raiser for the upcoming Bundesliga season ahead.
No, fully, and I agree with you, because obviously the game that kicks off the Bundesliga, I will come to you in a second, Alex, but the game that does kick off the Bundesliga is a clash. You know what I mean? Obviously it's not the Klassiker, but it is still, one of the main teams versus one of the main teams. You know what I mean? So I do agree with you. Alex, what do you think on the game coming up this weekend, bro? Bayern versus Stuttgart.
Yeah, I agree. It's a tough game to call, because it depends entirely on how Bayern approach the game, in my opinion. Bayern Munich obviously have the ability, if they wanted to sweep aside any team in Germany. But Stuttgart, they're very tough as well. Every time that Leverkusen plays Stuttgart, I always say that they are some of the hardest teams to play against. They play excellent football. They play I would say the closest football to Alonso football. So yeah, but whilst they do have a bit of a weakened team, but I guess there aren't many teams that can say they aren't weak in this transfer window. But if they play how they normally play, they'll certainly be a challenge. I'd probably say I probably agree. It could most likely be 3-1 to Bayern Munich. Yeah, it just depends on how Bayern approach it, and yeah, it's in their hands, as it is with most games. Yeah, Stuttgart would definitely want to win, but whether or not they can. So.
No. I know what you mean. That's the thing, though, isn't it? Like, for me personally, before this, I wanted to win it. Obviously, anyway, if you're in it to win it, you're quite literally in it to win it. But at the same time, now considering this Woltemade deal, I really, like I said earlier, I really want to smash them. I would love nothing more than a Barca score 7-0. Even if we could get the the score from Club World Cup. I don't think that's the case, but if we could smash them by 10, that would be amazing. It really would, because it just shows the levels. You know what I mean? Like, fair enough to you. You are a good team. You did in the end deserve to win the Pokal and so on. You got some brilliant players, but like there is levels to this game. You know what I mean? I know I sound like a prick right now, but at the end of the day, like they are like with Leverkusen, for instance, you know, they won the league. You know, they went unbeaten. They won the league. They won the Pokal. You know what I mean? And they had, you know, arguably one of the greatest players in world football. You know what I mean? In Wirtz. Obviously, they didn't want to sell him to us. Blah blah blah. Still don't like Leverkusen, but I understand it. With Stuttgart, from their perspective, it's just a bit weird. It's like we've offered you 55 million, which would be a record. You still don't want to do it. Fair enough, but like the player, like everything is there. It's just like the player says he wants to go. His agent is pushing heavily to get him to Munich. We are actually trying to get him, and then you know they are the ones that you know are in the way. You know what I mean? So I do agree with what Justin said, though. Obviously, it's not going to be the case that his first game is going to be against his former team, but it is going to be interesting if he does play. If he does play and he scores, what will he do? Will he celebrate? Will he, you know, do the? Because you know what players are like these days. You know what I mean? Like, does he start on the bench? Like, this is the, you know, the speculation thing. I believe Stiller's back as well, if I'm right by saying, which is going to be a pain in the ass because he's a good player. But yeah, Hamzah's saying that Bayern win 2-1. Yeah, don't get it twisted. Anybody that watches this after this has been live or is watching it live, and obviously the lads in here with me, do I think we're going to smash them? No, I think it is going to be a closer game. Do I want to smash them though? Yes, of course. Nubble won't be playing though. Nubble will not be playing. So I'm not too sure who that other keeper is or if he's any good. If I'm being 100% honest with you. Let me look. Because Nubble's out with a elbow injury, which I don't think he would have stopped us anyway, to be honest with you. Obviously, he's our goalkeeper on loan to them. Why we haven't sold him yet, I don't know. So yeah, it will be So it will be Fabian Bredlow. How would you say whoever he is? He's 30. He's one of their keepers, or it will be their young goalkeeper, Stefan. Have no clue how to say it. Dvorak. Probably butchered that. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what happens, you know, there. But yeah, man, we'll see. We'll see what happens. There's going to be a lot of goals. I hope so, bro. I really, really, really do hope so. Is there anything else you guys want to mention before we end today?
Yeah. If you don't mind me jumping quickly in, I was going to say because obviously you have the Super Cup first, and both teams will be playing. So Stuttgart and Bayern will be playing. I think the week later or something. Their DFB Pokal round 1 fixture. But I was actually going to say, what game out of the DFB Pokal round 1 are you most looking forward to? So for me, because obviously I pitched it, so I'll go first.
Yeah.
I did want to put out a little fact that the last time that RB Leipzig played SV Sandhausen in the round 1, we won the DFB Pokal. So I don't know if that means anything, or if we're going to get completely smashed or lose, or who knows what. But yeah, that's the last time we've played them in round 1, and then we ended up winning it. But for me, in round 1, I'm most looking forward to the Arminia Bielefeld and Werder Bremen, as Arminia Bielefeld were actually runners-up, did quite well last year, and the runners-up against VfB Stuttgart, who obviously took out the title.
Yeah,
I was actually going for Arminia Bielefeld because it's the first ever time they would have won a trophy or anything like that in their club. So you got the runners-up versus a Bundesliga team in Werder Bremen, so that should be a really good fixture. And in round 1, you normally don't get these types of fixtures, so that's pretty much the one that, if for the neutrals or for anyone that's wanting just to check out a German football, so like a Bundesliga game and things like that, that's the one you look for.
I think you hit the nail on the head there. If I'm being honest, look, I'm just looking at it now. Obviously, Leverkusen play SG. Yeah, like that's. I can't really think. Like, obviously, there's other teams in there like Schalke and so on, but like, there's not really any big games. You got obviously SEN versus Dortmund, but realistically, Dortmund should win that one. You got is it Pusten Minster? I believe is how you say it.
Listen,
Yeah, versus Hertha Berlin. That's an interesting one. But yeah, Bayern have got an easy game realistically. So I think you hit the nail on the head there on that. Now on the fact that last time you beat them, you won it. I'm not gonna lean into that because I want to win it, of course. But
obviously.
But yeah, no, fully.
I also do want to say that for people that are, because round one, I don't know, for me in Australia, round one is normally the hardest game to find. So we have a operator that does the Bundesliga, the DFB Pokal games, I should say, sorry, from round two onwards, basically. So, but round one, you can go to the DFB Play website, and you can sign up for a free account if you don't have one already. It's dfbplay.tv. And you should be able to watch basically any sort of game on there. So the round one games, if you can't find them, depending on where you are located in the world with the broadcasting rights, do that, check that out, and then obviously use a VPN if it doesn't work, and then just sit yourself in Germany, and then you should be good to go. Obviously, do not break any laws that you're in, obviously. But yeah, that's the way that I do it. So VPN usage is legal, but yeah, I normally don't need to use it. Just sign up with that, and that's how I did it last year because I had a really hard time trying to do a live stream of the Rot-Weiss SN game against RB Leipzig last year. For the first 20 minutes of my stream, I'm like, how the hell do I find this thing? So yeah, so that's the best way to go for anyone that wants to watch round one in the DFB Pokal.
No, fully. And to everybody, to be excited for, we have been speaking, as a show, but obviously, they're not just panelists on my show. This is our show. This is Alice Football. This is obviously, this is just a Bayern fan speaking about other clubs if it's not with these guys in here. And we have been speaking off camera and so on, and we are going to, we've got certain things that we're thinking of doing. So, it's going to be interesting to see what happens. We'll go from there. Maybe some predictions and so on and so forth. Obviously, we need to talk about the league. Obviously, the league's going to be kicking off a week from now. Am I right by saying?
Yeah.
So it's going to be very, very interesting to see what happens. But yeah, man. W show again. Really enjoyed this one. Thank you to the comments as well. Obviously, thank you to Alex. Thank you to Justin as always for coming on. And yeah, man. I think that's pretty much it. Any last words, guys?
Yes. Glad to be here once again, and yeah, look forward to next week with new stuff we've got planned.
100%, bro.
As always, thank you to everyone in the comments. Thank you, Liam, for hosting it and everything like that. Alex, pleasure to work with you all as usual. So looking forward to another jam-packed episode next week and going forward for the Bundesliga season.
There we go. So yeah, bless up, people. Smash the likes, hit the subscribe button if you want to find either one of these lads. Obviously, their links are in the description. Yeah, we'll go from there. But yeah, I will see you guys for this show next week. And then obviously we'll push on with the rest of the content. So yeah, thank you guys, and we'll see you on the next one. Yes, I'm here. Peace out.